Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my first video essay. Yes, my name is Nicole and I've been really excited to show this to an audience for a very long time. What I'm going to talk about today has been an issue for quite some time in the cosplay community, in the nerd community, and it's been bothering me a lot, and I feel like there's not enough exposure on what's currently going on. Although it's something that's super common and tends to trend a lot, it's still a problem that doesn't go away, so this is why we're here today. So let's get started. So with the unstoppable force that is the internet, there came easy access for various communities. Finding common ground with those who share the same interests once proved to be a challenge for young people. With the help of a computer, internet access, and social forums, however, one can now find solace knowing that they are not alone. The human experience, after all, has always been about belonging to one place over the other and feeling secured in that space. How does this concept fit in with the modern age of technology? Pop culture in modern media was taken as a cultural reset for many, with hits like the Star Wars episodes, to the creation of lovable video game mascots such as Super Mario Bros. And Sonic the Hedgehog, came a horde of devoted fans rushing towards it with support and money, because, you know, commodification. The later half of the 20th century provided eager enthusiasts a plethora of content that essentially shaped the outlook of the new millennia, proving just how devoted one can be to a work of art or a work of fiction, you name it. The internet facilitated this persistent devotion, providing a space for communities of different works to come together and discuss theory, critique certain aspects of the work analytically, or simply have a safe space to gush over which character is more of a badass. There is evidence of even a Dragon Ball Z related IRC chat room to have existed as early as 1996. I couldn't find a backlog version of the actual website, but what I did find were some stories of how the chats were and how they were exclusively for Dragon Ball Z fans. As the era of social media continued to grow, so did fandoms, or in other words, communities of people who share a dedication in the same interests, be it a television show, a video game, or otherwise. There are fandoms for quite literally anything. Just look at the Onceler fandom. Or don't. As soon as online public forums became available to use, the fandom atmosphere shifted from a passive audience perspective and one-to-many approaches to gradually increasing attention to the agency audiences operate over the media they consume. Essentially, the fans became more engaged with their respective fandoms as well as found more ways to become involved with the content they consumed.
Sadly, yes.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I would say yeah.
Like, how about I reword it? Cosplay otaku.
Yeah, I'd probably spend all my time sewing cosplay.
Yeah, cosplay is my main hobby.
Of these manners of devotion, the act of cosplaying erupted in popularity. Believed to have been first coined at a convention in Los Angeles in the 1980s, the term cosplay is a literal combination of the terms costume and roleplay. Through laborious efforts and a grand attention to detail, these devotees create and wear thread-for-thread replicas of the costumes that their favorite characters wear on screen. Side note, of course, now you can just buy costumes on big websites like Mike Costume, I don't know, and or you can get commissions from smaller creators, you know, if you don't like to sew or just don't have the time or the money to do so. And I'm not gonna bash on that is totally valid. Social channels then help cosplayers to share photos of their creations, swap convention stories, and ask other cosplayers questions on how to construct specific parts of costumes, generating even more love for said piece of media. The role of social media has been beneficial in not only normalizing the idea of cosplay in a less than accepting society, but also provides comfort for those who once may have been ostracized by their peers for being different, or nerdy in most cases. Unfortunate circumstances, however, have proven that the world of cosplay is not without its flaws. While the community is known for its all-inclusive, non-discriminatory, and non-judgmental way of life, that is, cosplay is for anyone regardless of race, sex, gender, body shape, or sexual orientation, it is these factors that have remained a prominent issue. When one Google image searches the term cosplayer, it is visible that the majority of the results that show are either white or Asian females dressed up. While there is a noticeable imbalance that most cosplayers showcased on social media are typically female, and while it is true that a majority of the cosplayers you see at conventions are typically cisgendered females. Hey everyone, Editing Nicole here. I just wanted to make a quick note that what I mean by this is cosplayers who appear to be cisgendered females. That's what I meant. I don't want to exclude anyone that doesn't define themselves under the binary that our society does. But for all intents and purposes, I'm just going to focus on people that do appear to be cisgendered females. Okay, bye! There is less light shined on girls that do not identify as white or Asian.
Barbarian Snorlax is from Pokemon, and I was like, hey, he's kind of like the best Pokemon in there, so what would be unique about, doing a Pokemon? I was like, armor. Absolutely armor.
Black female cosplayers are not highlighted in this way on social channels and tend to receive backlash with each post they make in cosplay. This negative feedback, in turn, has a debilitating effect on how women of color in the community view themselves in comparison.
But as someone who appreciates cosplayers dressing up as their favorite character from an anime, movie franchise, or video game series, it pains me to see how some people are fixated on the color of someone's skin rather than the badass and perfectly put together costumes. A lot of black cosplayers had to leave social media for a while because they had to recollect their thoughts on how cosplaying a character could bother so many people to the point where they're being called racial slurs.
While this may be true, there are still plenty of rather successful black female cosplayers ruling the internet. Influencers such as Kiera Please, K-Bear, and Cutie Pie Sensei are all black women who have found quite a bit of success from posting themselves in homemade costumes. Consequently, this influences other women of color to follow in their footsteps. That being said, it is important to question the effects that social media has on cosplayers of color. The need for minority representation in pop culture and social media causes an outburst of self-mediation by the underrepresented group in question, despite the visible criticism and backlash they experience online. To explain the relationship between self-mediation and social media, here's a quote from Lily Chularakis' article titled Self-Mediation, New Media and Citizenship. She says, quote, mediated self-representation entails a particular view of publicness that thematizes, or presents, performance, voice, and claims to recognition, unquote.
POCs in the cosplay world in general, you don't see them get as much attention as their white counterparts, let's be real. So these sort of events help highlight those people in the community and about their achievements and their goals and what they want to see more of, so it's a great way to really give more ideas to the community as well as uplift people that maybe should be uplifted more than they currently are.
So for research purposes, I completed a few interviews that were conducted over the last several weeks in order to receive direct testimonies of the occurrences that black women experience in this community. The first interviewee, her name is Alexus, and she's super sweet. She goes by Chubby Senpai on Instagram and has just over 2,000 followers on there. Her content consists mostly of herself in various cosplays, either at conventions or posing at home. When asked about the negative experience on the online community, she mentioned that fat shaming came before any insults about her race. Quote, at first it was body shaming, people calling me fat, comparing me to Lizzo, which in itself shows some inherent racism because it implies that all plus-size black women look the same, but recently it seems to have gotten worse. take cosplay out of the equation for a second. When women typically post their bodies on social media, a portion of it is to receive immediate feedback in doing so. According to a psychological study done on young women in China, it is proven that there is a strong correlation between selfie posting and a woman's self-esteem, having a large dependence on whether or not the feedback is positive feedback. Now, this may seem common knowledge, but the cause and effect relationship that it has created is something that needs to be looked on because of how big social media is now. We didn't see these certain issues about appearance 20 years ago. We had those issues because we still had television and magazines that were telling women how to look, but now this is different. This is posting your body out there. By doing so, there is an immediate response. We didn't have that 20 years ago. Now it's people telling you how they feel about your body, and it's addicting in a way. Having the like system on various social media channels is an immediate mediator for many. Having a quantifiable result to refer back to when making a post can determine just how much reach one's photo has made. On top of this, the comment section also plays an important role in validation. Body satisfaction, or the individual's contentedness with their overall body or with specific body parts, is affected with each public post. As stated before, there is an imbalance of the kind of feedback that cosplayers receive, and a large factor has to do with what the cosplayer in question looks like. Black women in media, on television, movies, etc., are rather sparse in comparison to their white counterparts, therefore not providing black cosplayers in particular many options to portray accurately. The argument here, however, is that despite many of these characters living in a fictional fantasy land dealing with elements deemed unrealistic, a large portion of the criticism that women of color receive is that the characters they are dressing up as are not black or brown. An example of this that has received a lot of attention lately is the debate over Halle Bailey, a young black woman, playing Ariel in the new live-action adaptation of Disney's The Little Mermaid. Die-hard Disney fans, quote, complained about a black non-Danish Ariel, unquote, deeming the decision inaccurate. These fans failing to note that not only do black Danish people exist, but also that the character in question is a fictional sea creature with red hair and shells for a bra. And race should be besides the point. Ethnic women having various body shapes and facial features that do not represent the Eurocentric beauty standards that society has instilled since media became popularized are deemed unfit to cosplay these various anime or video game characters by the dedicated fans who feel the need to protect their beloved franchise. This in turn causes a dissatisfaction with the body that so many of these women hold, having a great effect on one's self-esteem and overall perception of oneself. Alexus, or Chubby Senpai, commented on similar experiences, stating that, quote, I've always been self-conscious and insecure about my outward appearance, so I kind of saw cosplay as a way to become more comfortable with myself. It was very encouraging because there was little to no feedback when I first started, but now that I've been at it for a while, that doesn't seem to be the case, unquote.
Cosplay is a community, and then there's black cosplayers. We've had tons of issues in real life and online where people will say, oh, you can't cosplay that character because your skin's too dark or it's not canon, when in reality it's racist and it's not okay to say stuff like that.
The dilemma of fans controlling how others consume media for their own needs does not solely exist within the realm of cosplay. Gatekeeping is a phenomenon that is commonly seen in large fandoms. The term alone refers to a person who controls access. In fan culture, however, this refers to someone within a certain fandom who feels entitled to the entire franchise by deciding what is acceptable behavior from real fans and what is not. The RPG Monger, a small YouTuber that discusses gaming and anime, elaborated on the gatekeeper phenomenon, describing anime elitists he has run into.
Those who believe that their way of watching anime, reading manga, and critiquing the medium as a whole is the only way out there, and if anyone else differs, then they are automatically lower than you.
This applies to many black women who cosplay because oftentimes they are told, mostly by men, what they can and cannot dress as. Farrah, better known as Farrah Not Sarah 777 on Instagram, explained her first experience when dealing with gatekeepers online. She refers to these opinionated commenters as internet trolls, which is a common label for those who, in my words, intentionally use derogatory or hurtful statements to attack others online to receive some sort of attention. After posting a photo of herself as Starfire, a highly beloved character from the Teen Titans universe, she received negative feedback, saying, quote, "There were a lot of trolls, who have never cosplayed a day in their life. They were like, you ruined Starfire. Starfire is not black." It was really mean. I'm kind of sensitive, so I was at work refreshing the page to see what they were saying. A majority of the derogatory comments that cosplayers like Farrah and Alexus have seen typically involve their skin tone, convincing many to take a break off social media. Alexus saying, quote, "Jorgen Von Strangle was something quick I wanted to cosplay." Some guy decided to comment, "Yeah, cool, but Jordan is not a gatekeeper's sense of entitlement pries deep into the self-esteem of many young black women who are simply attempting to make strides in their self-confidence, tarnishing the reputation of the community that seemingly tried to protect them. In many cases, it is sad to see a lot of the discrepancy and the unfair criticism that is aimed at black women who are cosplaying on the internet comes from a lot of black men, which begs the question, if black men do not protect black women, then who can protect them? Who will protect them? Who will shield them from mean and hurtful and racist statements? So with all that in mind, it is essential to note that cosplay may mean more than simply putting on an outfit and taking a picture to post for many to see. While we do know that receiving feedback through likes and comments can be very mediating to many of these girls, we can also determine that cosplaying represents so much more than just a fun hobby. Because of the limited representation in pop culture for darker-skinned girls and women, many of these cosplayers have taken matters into their own hands, showing that cosplay remains a valid outlet for self-expressionism.
Followers, fame, all that stuff. I mean, they're talented, creative, and they put a lot of work into their cosplays, but black cosplayers, we do the same thing.
The act of cosplay is performative and can be used as a healthy outlet for escaping the rejection that many black women experience daily. Farrah says, quote, "Cosplay is a performance. It helps me express my weird and zany side. It helps me to be someone who can express themselves in different ways. Recognition is a concept that resonates heavily with many women of color, and the internet facilitates the goal of truly being seen. Through this form of self-expression that is cosplay, black women can reach out to their audience, encouraging this lifestyle despite the bumps in the road that many come to face. Behind each photograph, there is a goal to achieve salience, or the prominence of how much one is noticed. When a young woman of color takes a photo of themselves cosplaying a character that is confident, strong, lovable, a badass bitch, their goal is to hopefully emanate these traits through their body and costume and show the world that black girls can have someone they feel represented by, minimizing the damaging stereotypes they've been assigned to their entire lives. It is because of this that many black female cosplayers have appointed themselves as advocates for other young women who may feel scared of the negative feedback they may receive for trying to do the same thing. Alexus said, quote, "I try to present myself as an advocate. As cliche as it sounds, I want people to see me and my post and think, wow, she looks like me, and if she can do it, what's stopping me?" Unquote. Farrah responded that she feels she is also an advocate, explaining that, quote, "When I was younger and I saw women of color cosplaying, it made me go, whoa, I can do this too. It doesn't matter what I look like." Representation is so important because when people look up to others when they see themselves in things where they normally wouldn't, it can really help their confidence, unquote. The need to be seen as someone who is just as worthy of expressing themselves as others do is extremely important within the community for cosplayers of color. The majority of these characters that many black women cosplay usually involve otherworldly elements or have some sort of superpower. This translates into a statement for those who may not be certain that cosplay will be beneficial to them. They are truly represented, they are powerful in their efforts, and have the right to be seen. Despite the negativity, derogatory, and downright hurtful comments that many Black female cosplayers see on their social media pages, it is menial in comparison to the large strides in the community they have made towards accurate and justifiable recognition. To anybody that's watching this, thank you so much. This took a really long time to write and an even longer time to edit and turn into a video. I don't really have anything more to say except to support Black women. Support Black women in these communities. Give them your undivided attention because they deserve it as much as anybody else, you know, cosplaying a beloved character. It's time to have serious discussions like this and raise the bar when it comes to inclusivity. If you have the time, check out the Cosplaying While Black hashtag on either Twitter or Instagram. There are a lot of cool, awesome, cute, and amazing cosplayers out there that don't get a chance to be in the spotlight as some others do. I just wanted to use my platform to say that. Thanks for watching. If you like content and would like to see more video essays such as this, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. I want to know your thoughts and your experiences within the cosplay community. All right, peace.